I'm Dr. G, and we're here with Engaging Minds. Every week we like to look at our world from a deeper, more psychological point of view, but we won't be doing that tonight because we have a very special show. It's about Thanksgiving and family, and the reason I said that is I am blessed tonight to have a co-host. His name is Patrick Cassidy, so I'm going to introduce him first. Patrick, welcome to the show.
It's nice to be here, but for you listeners, you can call me Dr. C because I play one on TV.
That's right. And I'm Dr. G, and I play one in real life.
Yes, you do.
And so we have the whole Cassidy family here tonight.
Yes,
most of them.
I'm really nervous.
I know.
I got to tell you. It's
And I'm here to do psychotherapy with the Cassidy
That's
family,
exactly
so that's going to be our whole show.
Good for me.
But actually, what I wanted to do was celebrate family tonight because it's Thanksgiving, and what's so exciting for me about this holiday is it very much represents family, and some people out there, and I know our audience relates to this, actually are disconnected from their family, so they've had to go and create real families for themselves. That's what I say, maybe work harder. And one of the things, Patrick, that I've come to understand about your family as I've come to meet them is there seems to be a lot of respect for one another in the family, especially the respect for individuality, and that I think is such an important attribute to have within a family.
Yeah, Howard, that's very true. Although I did call the Osmonds over the holiday,
Yeah,
just
right.
in case that my
The
family
competition.
didn't show up. No, we do have.
Did you call the Brady Bunch too?
Yeah, what was it? What was his name? Christopher Knight? I mean, he was the middle son, very needy like me.
Right.
Anyway, no, there is a mutual respect. I think, I mean, we're a family, like any other family, and you will meet mine right now.
So why don't you introduce us to your wonderful family?
So to my left is the very beautiful, and I like to refer to her as my better half, Miss Melissa Cassidy. How are you, my dear?
Oh, good, sweetheart. And I'm happy to be here today.
She has that soft-spoken thing.
Melissa, tell us something important about your life, other than being married to Patrick.
Yes, married to Patrick, and these wonderful two boys are my sons. But I was born in Vermont, and I was trained as a ballet dancer for most of my life, and then had a career for 25 years as a dancer. Now I teach and choreograph and give back.
And for those of you who are out there who would like to know what it's like marrying a dancer, flexibility. Very, very important. Incredible flexibility.
Does flexibility change with time?
Actually, it doesn't. She
Physically?
gets up every morning and right goes to a split. It's perfect.
But flexibility psychologically too.
Oh, yeah.
Very much being able to sort of go with it.
It evolves. Would you say?
Yeah, in this family, you definitely have to have flexibility.
Or you're not going to make
Psychologically. You won't make
it.
it.
And your son,
Yes.
Cole?
And to Melissa's left is my oldest son, Cole, at 23 years old, who's been on this show before.
That's right. He's thank you and welcome back to the show, Cole.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now that you're a veteran of radio. Now, I know you're sort of the odd man out in the family. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, so pretty much everyone in my family goes into show business. That's pretty much what it that's what it seems like. But I took a different route. I ended up going to UC Irvine and just graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering. So
Bar none, the greatest accomplishment by a Cassidy.
He takes after the Hurley side of the
Exactly.
family.
And why does he?
Well, a lot of, from Vermont, the Hurleys, that's my maiden name. They
Right.
were I found out many engineers that came from our family. So he is actually in the lineage on the other side of the family.
So their intelligence is genetic.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
sort of in line. And then we have Jack. So, Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a part of this wonderful family, as you've already met. I was someone that was, when I went into work, I tried to get away from the whole show business thing and tried to be a hand doctor, tried to be a pilot. I was trying to get away from it completely, and then, what do you know, I fell right into it.
And how did you fall into it? What do you do?
Yes, I was on The Voice 3 seasons ago, and I was on Alicia Keys' theme, and that was an incredible journey, and that kind of secured for me that I wanted to go into show business and follow in the footsteps of my whole family.
Damn!
Yeah!
Damn, I had a chance at another mechanical engineer, but no, he wouldn't follow.
So I'm kidding. It's very true. What was that incredible experience like for you, sort of creatively and both personally, as you went through it?
Well, it was my first journey into show business, coming out of high school. So it was this eye-opening experience to the nature of the music business, MTV business. But so it just kind of, it was my first experience after seeing my family do it for so many years. It was affirming for me to know that this is where I belonged and this was a home for me.
So it felt that right.
Yeah, and that's where it got secured, and now that led me into pursuing Christian music, and I just got signed by a record label 5 days ago.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
That's what I always say in my household.
You know what I love about your career, and I've watched you, is it seems like even though you're doing music like the rest of the family, you very much have carved out your own path.
Correct. Yeah. All the viewers probably know my family, huge pop stars, but I'm taking this kind of more behind-the-scenes songwriting view. But then I'll rise and become an artist as well. But it's more going to be in Christian music.
Also, I have to tell you all too, he was the only one, and my brothers kind of agree with us. He's like a prodigy. He was born in this business, whereas my mother tried so valiantly to keep myself and my brothers out of this business. Go to college, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become a mechanical engineer. Oh yeah, good luck. And then
I was going to say, how did that go?
And I tried with both my sons. I said the same thing to them. I said, look, just do something else, get a degree, have something to fall back on. But with Jack, it was so clear and so apparent that this was the business he was meant to be in. He's an incredible songwriter. He's an incredible singer. And we just said, well, this is what he's got to do,
Yeah, and I do want to remind our listeners, I know people listen every week, if you want to call in and ask me a question, or now that you've got to meet the wonderful Cassidy family, any question, the number to call in is 1-800-222-5222. Again, that's 1-800-222-5222. And I'll have my co-host repeat the number.
1-800-222-5222.
See, he does a really good job, like a pro. So, your mom wanted you to get a degree?
In something else other than show business, anything else. She would have loved me working as a postman, which it was a terrific job for me because I like to go from house to house. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, because show business, you never know what's going to happen. You're basically, as good as your last audition, and it didn't work. It didn't catch. I followed in the footsteps of my brothers, who followed in the steps of their parents, as I did. And I said that I tried to pass on the same thing to them. And I married, my wife has been an artist. She's been a dancer since she was 20, working professionally in this business. So you have two artists. And what could we produce but a mechanical engineer and
Right.
and a hopeful artist?
So what's the experience like? We're talking about family, being in an entertainment family. What were some of your takes on it as the wife of Patrick, who appears and disappears into your life? I'm just curious about what some of the challenges were.
Right, yeah. Well, we have worked together quite often, but we had a thing in our marriage where we had a 2-week rule. So say he was traveling or on a tour, we would have to always see each other within that 2-week time frame, which worked out well for us. And then we had the luxury of bringing the boys on the road with us when we did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. 2 times, actually, 2 separate years, and they got to be in the show. I was in the show. I played Mrs. Potiphar, and Patrick was Joseph.
She got to seduce me every night, Howard.
Really? On stage or off stage?
And I had to,
We're going to change the name of the show.
as Joseph, I had to resist her, but then at the hotel later, it was a whole different set of game.
Right. I'm actually going to ask the boys. So you were in, let me find out, you were in this show, Jack, Cole?
Yeah, so they had a kids choir on stage, and Jack and I, we could both sing, and so we went on the road with them, and it was such an amazing experience because we were brought out of school for that year and had a nanny who was also our teacher, who came on the road with us, and it was so cool because during the day we would get homeschooled, and let's say, okay, today we're going to learn about the Boston Massacre, and we're in Boston, the city doing the show, and so we were like, okay, let's go learn about the Boston Massacre, and then go
Right.
go to the place
Let's
where it
go.
happened. Yeah. So
And the Alamo.
it was it was just.
Oh,
it was
that's
such
kind of
an amazing
interesting.
experience.
So, depending on where you were, did
Yeah.
you teach them about the
We did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we took them on the Freedom Trail, and then the Alamo. We had a tour of the White House when we were in Washington,
Yeah,
D.C.
yeah, because I was in 5th grade at the time, and we were learning about U.S. history, and what
And you
better way
got
to
to
learn about
experience.
it than go to the actual.
We had a
place.
private tour of the White House, and I said, guys, this is Mr. Bush, or the president. And they said, who cares? Let's get to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, right. So, what was your experience like, Judd?
Yeah, on that tour, funnily enough, like when I was on stage, it wasn't quite the right environment for me when I was 7. I was like yawning on the stage during my dad's big number.
Oh, yeah. And picking his nose, I might add.
Yes, I didn't quite understand.
Have you ever gotten over it?
Never.
I have an opening. We can
I was
discuss
going to
it.
say, I need, what are you, like $2.25 an hour? I'm in.
Yeah, $2.25.
I can't say that it gave me any idea that I wanted to follow my family footsteps, but it was just a great experience all around for us to grow as a family and connection on the road and see what that whole experience is.
What did it do? What did it do for you two as brothers?
It made us very close because on the road he was the only other person my age, and we were sharing hotel rooms in every city and sometimes even beds, and so we pretty much depended on each other to entertain each other, and it made us best friends. It was very close. So.
We have a caller calling in. We're going to take a break in a moment, but I'm just going to bring her on for a second. Megan, I want to welcome you to the show. So hi, it's a pleasure to have you on. Your question is, what was your greatest challenge as a family you had to face?
Oh, that's a great question. Megan, who would you like to answer that question? Let's.
Well, why don't I answer it?
You want me to? Okay, my wife is poking me. She wants me to answer. The greatest challenge is, I think, balancing being a family and being in this business. It is a constant challenge. As Melissa was talking about, as an artist, I was away a lot. And, I think the old adage of like absence makes the heart grow fonder, yeah, that lasts for about 2 weeks. And then after that, you start to develop a life by yourself because that's who you're functioning for. So you have to find ways of really balancing, being a father, being a husband, being a brother, and then still make this your job. And for me, personally, my priorities, it's on my Facebook page, you can see it. My wife is number 1, my children are number 2, and my career is a distant third.
And I think what I love about that from a psychological point of view, that with those kind of challenges, if you're able to meet them, it actually can make the family unit much stronger.
Absolutely.
And much more powerful. And what an amazing experience the guys had to actually not just read about history, but experience it as they're going. So, Melissa, what do you think were some of the greatest challenges you had as a family?
Well, personally, I was just.
And we're going to commercial. No, I'm just
almost. No, for me, it was like almost having to be the mother and the father, and it seemed like every time he'd go out of town.
I know where this is going.
This is no joke. Every time he'd leave for another tour, movie, or job, I didn't be in the ER. Somebody had broken a foot, a leg, an arm. I mean, it happened like 6 times. I'm like, Patrick, every time you leave, somebody breaks a bone.
So is this your way of getting attention?
I guess so.
So I had to be really strong.
Or she'd call me and I'd be like in Kansas, honey, we have a rodent problem. There are rats in my house. I can't, what do I do?
Yeah, it was like I had to deal with some serious issues. And I had to be so strong and not let them look like I'm freaking out. But I had to play both roles, and the breaking of the bones, though, I mean, it became ridiculous.
So guys, what was that about? Did you run out of bones to break after a while?
I mean, there was a point during the holidays, actually, where Jack and I were both in a cast at the same time, and we actually took our Christmas card. I had a red cast, he had a green one that said, Merry Christmas from the cast. Itties. So it was, it definitely, there was a phase where we were always seemed to get hurt when Dad was out of town.
I was actually going to just talk about that with my kids and with Melissa. The last 2 weeks in Thousand Oaks was insanity. I mean, true insanity. Thousand Oaks has been one of the safest places in the country for years and years and years, and literally within a 48-hour period, it went into complete chaos. And it started a block and a half away from our house at Borderline. Literally a block. I was there a month ago hosting a fundraiser for 20 nonprofits. My wife and I have been there many, many times. And the boys, and I will let them tell you, they go there on Wednesday night for college night all the time. So they know many, many people.
So, Eric, I want to thank you very much for calling in, and we appreciate the call. And Jack, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been going through around these two tragedies that happened in Thousand Oaks.
It's been a lot of gauging how to respond to so much, because it's. I always said when the shooting happened, it was I feel like, I mean, I personally, I lost a very close friend and a few distant friends, but Noel Sparks was a church friend of mine, and she was one of the victims that had passed away. And it was so hard to grieve. I had to be strong and be there for my friends and be there. Man, it just hit us so much as a community, and it was hard to digest, because that first shooting didn't even get proper grieving time to people that lived in Thousand Oaks. Because then we just got blasted by the fires right after, like a day after. I had just gotten back from the two vigils, just for the grieving process for high schoolers, for young adults, for just whoever would show up. But and then all of a sudden we had to run home, and at midnight I found out first that I had to evacuate from our house, and I called my parents, and I was like, jokingly at first, I was just like, we might have to evacuate, because fires had just started. No one knew how bad they were going to get. And then we left, and we had to almost evacuate twice, but it was just absolute chaos going on around us. But I also want to add that in the midst of all those things that people tend to not see, what I keep trying to tell myself is that in tragedy, you can find great healing. You can find great peace. In the midst of all these things that have been happening, I've never seen Thousand Oaks come together so much as a community, and so much hope that's coming out of people as a whole, and in unity, and things in such a broken world that we're seeing, even in the midst of a tragedy that happens in a place where you never see it, and especially a hometown. You know what I mean?
You realize that your community is like family.
Yeah.
Our whole community up there of Thousand Oaks, it's like one big family. It's incredible.
One of the things I was thinking about as Jack was talking is that when you deal with this kind of trauma, especially when we'll say it's a double whammy trauma,
Yeah.
the grieving process can take years to actually process through, because many people are still in shock, but being able to find ways to express it, to talk about it, to sing about it,
Sure.
to find ways to interpret it artistically. These are all very powerful experiences for people, and I do want to share that with our audience too. So if it's something that you're facing, make sure you get the help that you need, whether it's professional or through friendships or through community, that this is definitely something you shouldn't be doing on your own. I'm wondering, Melissa, what your thoughts are around what happened.
Yeah, it was just, my heart broke for those families, especially on television, just following the shootings, the waiting time that there was a specific father that was waiting to hear from his son, and his cell phone was at the borderline, and his son was one of the victims that got shot. And it was just so shocking to me, thinking my sons could have been there. And they go there every week when he comes home, and Cole, being college night, just so grateful that he had just started a job in Irvine, but my hearts just go out to the families and the trauma. I feel like I've been in a post-traumatic stress state,
You probably have
and
been.
driving around in my car, like jumping at sounds, and the fires coming, surrounded our whole property, and we all had to leave really quickly, and the flames were just coming. It was very traumatic. So I just feel like our community definitely is healing, and again, my hearts go out to all the victims' families.
And I agree so much with what Patrick said, that so much of this is about the more you can create a community, the more you can come together and share these kind of experiences and find ways to verbalize the trauma. That is definitely a powerful way of dealing with the healing of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great that everyone's coming together. I wonder, Cole, what are your thoughts about what we're sharing?
Yeah, I mean, I knew a few people who were victims in the borderline shooting. Friends from high schools or even other rival high schools, and I mean, it is sad, and it's you never think, you hear about those tragedies. Now it seems like all the time, and you never think it's going to happen in your community. until it does, and it's just whoa, like it gets very real very fast, and
nothing can ever really be the same. Is
yeah.
what happens, is that whatever you thought was real, whatever you thought was an absolute
Yeah.
truth, changes completely.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, even just walking into a restaurant or a bar or anything now, immediately your first reaction is, okay, where's my closest exit, and it's just crazy nowadays that that's where your mind goes, and it's really sad.
Yeah, it's really sad, but it will change. It's still
Yeah.
so fresh, but it definitely will change.
Yeah.
We have about 30 seconds left, so we're gonna take a break. First of all, I want to, this is such a tough thing that you guys are going through, so I really applaud you for all the courage in being able to face it, and I've seen you come together even more closely as a family. I do want to share with Patrick, he was on the show a little while ago, and one of the things he had said to me was, is there any way I can call in, because I really just want to be with my family tonight? And I respected that so much, because I could tell how important that was to you and how much that was part of the healing process.
Out of the ashes comes this incredible garden in terms of people coming together. And my family and I mean, I got to be with my family that night. I was there. I was the dad. I was the husband. I was, we were together as a family. We went with Melissa's sister and her family.
We're gonna stop for a break, but again, I think it's just an amazing courage you guys have shown. How was it like growing up with Patrick? Was it hard to discern what was real and what was fantasy? I'll ask
Do you have
your
another
son.
segment
I'm
we can go on
in
that
such
one?
trouble now.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was interesting.
Okay.
No,
Remember,
it was,
we're live on
Yeah.
national
When Dad
radio.
was on Broadway doing Annie Get Your Gun,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you're like, why is Dad wearing a gun around his hips?
No,
Like-
honestly, it's become normal to us.
That's what's so important for people to hear.
Yeah,
that it's just normal.
It's completely. He's just dad to me, and the only time I would realize that maybe it's something unique is when I would have like friends over and stuff, and they would ask me, hey, so does your dad sing all the time? And I was just like, yeah, your dad doesn't do that.
Exactly.
So that's when I started to realize, I was like, okay, like I guess maybe this is unique. But yeah, I mean, to me, I see him as dad.
and Jack, your experience?
The same thing with that's I'd say the same. Most families, it's like, help me with this fishing lure. Him, it's help me with my makeup.
And we go into
Oh.
Your makeup?
Your makeup?
Dad, you do wear makeup.
Little more.
Dad.
Well,
For those of you who don't know
Melissa.
about show business, he is.
The truth is this, is that
Men
when
or
I
women.
was growing up, my brothers and I thought everybody was on television because
And you thought everyone wore makeup.
that's absolutely true. Because in my family, everybody
Everyone
did. and so now the other generation, my sons and my brother's sons and daughters, they have the same perspective. It's like everybody in our family is on television, so you think that is normal until you realize that that's just what we do. It's just a job, and we're, like I said, we're a family like anybody else.
Yeah, that's so important that I want people to hear, because sometimes they glamorize entertainment families. And in my experience as a psychologist and working with families in the entertainment industry, it really does come down to that. After a while, it's just a job, and it becomes the norm. So a lot of times we tend to, sort of not glamorize, but envy people from the outside. And what you start to learn, especially as a therapist, it's not worth envying.
No, it's not.
But I have to say,
Yes, Melissa, go.
Patrick's mother, Shirley Jones,
Right.
I think set the tone for that in the family.
In what
She
respect?
was so down to earth and just so warm and welcoming that when I came into the family, I was like, oh, it's Mrs. Partridge. And I was like, and coming from a little girl from Vermont when I used to watch the Partridge Family.
Did
and
she greet you with the tambourine?
She did. She was playing tambourine.
Uh-huh.
No, but seriously, the whole family's so down to earth, and maybe all show business families are not like that, but your family, Patrick, is just completely, or I guess my family too, just welcoming and warm and down to earth.
My mom's the matriarch, and my
Right.
mom shops at Target, and my
Okay.
mom could care less about anything materialistic. That she never has. So
So do you feel that that's a lot of the grounding that you got
Absolutely,
as far as
100%.
the realness of
yeah,
your mom?
no, she was the rock, and from that, yeah, there's no I mean, her career was her career, but she never really cared about it. She really more cared about being a mother and being a wife and being, and being present in her family's life, which is exactly what I got. It's just my job. These three people are the most important people in the world to me.
Well, I think that's so important for our listeners to hear. If you want to call in, the number is 1-800-222-5222, and you can talk to the Cassidy family. We do have someone calling in, and her name is Mikkel. Miguel, did I pronounce it correctly?
Mikkel.
Mikkel? Uh-oh, Cole, your girlfriend's on the line.
Oh no.
He's blushing.
And what would you like to ask, Mikkel? Make it good. You got one shot.
Good and embarrassing.
At least.
Oh, that's a great question.
Cole, would you like to take that one?
A family motto. I mean,
What's on your coat of arms?
It sounds, I guess, cheesy and what everyone would say, but honestly, family is everything. I really do believe that. I mean, a family is it's someone you can, it's a group of people you can confide in and just really feel comfortable in yourself. And at least with, with my family, they made that very, very clear to us, and I love that about them. So.
Mikkel, can we share that question with the other members of the family? Patrick?
My answer is, we are a family like a giant tree.
Come on.
Branching out
Jack,
toward the sky.
Harmony. There you go.
My motto, I'm going to say,
Yeah.
we got the luck of the Irish, because the fact that any of us have made a career in this business, and the fact that we all have, I'm the last one that has to make it. But
And you will.
fingers crossed, the luck of the Irish.
You will make it
Yeah.
because of a lot of the grounding that you got.
Sure.
Yeah, I did want to comment quickly about what Cole said, and I alluded to it at the beginning. I get emails from people that's difficult during this time because a lot of people may not have a family, or their family may have passed away, or they're estranged from their family. And it's so important for people to understand that family doesn't just have to be your family at birth, but family can also be your community, like what you guys are experiencing right now.
Yeah.
So you can get that love and respect, and sometimes friends can give it to you just even better than family, because a lot of times they don't come with so much baggage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we get to
Definitely.
choose them. So again, I know this is a depressing time for some people, but it's also a time to really take advantage and reach out.
And to pull together. I mean, like I said, I agree with you. I think family is the people that you create around you that have your back, that are there for you, that are there and are supportive and are willing to, to go to any lengths to be there for you. And we happen to be very lucky is that it is blood related, but then there are so many people.
Yeah, but you guys have worked so hard at it.
Yeah, it is important. It's really important to us. It is the first and foremost thing, I think, all of our lives.
So, Jack, I want to ask you a question. So, as far as success goes, what do you think is the most important personal attribute to have to be successful in this industry? And then I'm going to go around and you guys can answer it.
Humility.
Humility? Okay, interesting. Go ahead.
You could say family, and you need a family to have a strong support system, but people did single. But humility for me, as I've seen from my little experience so far, being by myself in the business, but from what I've seen from my family growing up, as long as you always keep your eye on what's important, and you never allow in this business to let your head get too big, and you always know who you are, you always know who loves you and who you love, and you keep those relationships. And you just keep it very real. You keep it honest, real, and humble, and the sky's the limit. You're going to thrive, and you're going to thrive in the way that you want to thrive.
I think that's a wonderful thing. I mean, I think that, which parent taught you that, Jack? Was it mom or was it me?
Both of you in life.
And God.
Melissa, what are your thoughts about what makes someone successful?
I think for me specifically is perseverance, because as a dancer, you're kind of like one of thousands, and you just have to have a really strong sense of self, and going forward just creatively, just really pushing through and continuing to push through when it looks like, oh, I'm not going to get this job. There's 500 other girls here in the room. That's and just having a strong sense of self. I had to just know that this is what I'm here to do, and I had to persevere and did it for 25, 30 years. So.
And
we
did
made
it
it
very
work.
well, according to your husband.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
a good long run, and as a dancer, it's hard to say that you can have a whole living for that long. So.
She had to have a lot of perseverance just to put up with me.
Yes, I know. Well, that's a
Yeah.
whole nother show. But I'm curious, as a dancer, a lot of times you have to reinvent your life. So have you been able to take some of that creative energy and channel it into other areas or
Yes,
other
yeah.
areas of dance?
Well, the natural segue for a dancer is usually to teach or choreograph, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But, it's a gift. My mother was a dance teacher. She trained my sister and I. And my sister, and she opened a school in Westlake called California Dance Theater. So I've been teaching there the past 10 years, and we have over
We're
700
going to
students.
have to take a quick break.
Okay.
But when we get back, we're going to get a song from the Cassidy family. We're going to try to get them to sing with us.
Not from this host, they're not.
Well, I ain't singing.
My
Go ahead.
wife Melissa teaches at an incredible dance school up in Thousand Oaks called California Dance Theater, and it just so happens that the woman that owns that school is Melissa's sister, Kim Hurley Maselli, and Kim is the artistic director for Pacific Festival Ballet, which is the other resident company at the Civic Arts Plaza. So I'm the artistic director for the acting company, and she's the artistic director for the ballet company. And they are doing a big musical of Camelot in March. Is that correct?
A ballet, yes.
A ballet, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So that's their plug, and Melissa's an incredible choreographer and teacher there, and my boys. Well, I'll let them each explain. Well, honey, why don't you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Melissa, and contact information. People want to find out more about the work you do.
Right. CaliforniaDanceTheater.com is our dance studio, and it's pacfestballet.org. And we're doing the Nutcracker December 15th and 16th at the Civic Arts Plaza. The big Tyler Peck is from New York City Ballet. She's our Sugar Plum Fairy. It's an incredible production, so everybody go. You don't have to go to Thousand Oaks and see the beautiful Nutcracker. And then in the spring, they're doing Camelot, which is an original ballet with an original score by Eric Alleman, and my sister Kim Maselli is the director. So, and we have shows in the summers, children's ballet, and we have just great ballet program, dance program.
Boy, does my sister-in-law owe me.
Really. One of the ways I was thinking when you were talking, Melissa, for all of us to support the healing in Thousand Oaks is to support the arts.
Absolutely.
Because that is such a great way to bring some, positive healing energy to the community right now. So I want to urge all our listeners that if you thought of going out to Thousand Oaks but haven't, this is definitely the time to
do
go
it.
and show the
Absolutely.
support
Yes.
and the love. Cole, I know you've got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it's funny because even though I studied mechanical engineering, and I was still bitten with the show business bug, and I pretty much do it in my own way. And I was in choir in high school, and once I went to college, while I was studying for my fluid mechanics midterm, I was doing musicals too, down at Irvine,
And rugby.
yeah, and rugby. I was
Yeah.
playing rugby down there too. And yeah, I've kind of found my own niche with it. I sing with Jack and write music with him all the time, and I play guitar too. And we just had our show together up at the Candy Club.
And it was an amazing show, I thought.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
great.
it's a lot of fun. So that's kind of how I scratch the itch because it's there.
No,
But
but you know what? And it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. It doesn't necessarily ever have to go away.
Oh
But
yeah.
after this radio show, he's going back down to Irvine to do his real job.
Really?
No, but I encourage him to do his music too, because I know it's like everybody is doing that, and it is a passion of his, and I'm encouraging him to do both. You can be an engineer and you can be in a band.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jack, I know you have a big move coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a little context, but since The Voice, I got a management team called Lippman Entertainment. They manage George Michael and Matchbox 20, so on, just great managers. And then we started seeking out record labels to get signed and start a career and capitalize on that. So these past, 6, 6 weeks we've been going back and forth with a big Christian record label that I'm not going to disclose the name of yet.
You can, yeah.
It's very new, but yeah, as I said before, we just got signed by them, so I will be. After my one trip, I will be going to Nashville, but this first trip I'm going is to Uganda,
On
Africa.
Tuesday,
I leave
right?
this Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I'm going to sing for 20,000 people out there.
That's an amazing experience.
Crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a whole new thing, and working with, tons of orphanages and kids, and I don't really know what to expect going out there, so I don't have much to say on it. I just know it's gonna be life changing, and you always think you're gonna go to give, but you always end up going to receive. That's just how it works.
I heard you say that when I saw your show last week, and
Yeah.
I thought, what an amazing experience to go from playing at a venue in Thousand Oaks, and a couple weeks later to be in Uganda playing for 20,000 people. That's the excitement of your career.
I hope it stays that exciting, yeah, because I never wanted it just to be a normal ride. I want it to be all over the place a little bit.
Well, actually, before we go on, I did want to mention that I wanted to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Grace Premier. They're a private concierge firm. They're nursing owned and operated, and they offer a variety of nursing skills in the privacy of your home. If you want to get more information about Grace Premier, you can contact Shannon at 323-364-7223. That's Grace Premier at 323-364-7223. So, Patrick, keeping it alive over many, 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 many years, what advice would you give to your son? Keeping it new.
To pursue their dreams, which they both do, and to have their priorities in the right place. If that's the one thing I think my mother taught me, and my brothers as well, is that the priorities that, as Cole said and Jack said in his way, and Melissa said, is that family comes first. And if you have that, I think at the number one, at the top of your list, everything sort of falls into place after that. And my boys and my wife are the most important things in my life, and my extended family after that, and the very close friends I have, and that means more to me than anything. Because at the end of the day, what's the legacy I want to leave behind? That I was a good father, I was a good husband, and I was a good friend.
And what do you guys think about what your dad is saying?
I 100% agree with it. I've always kind of had a motto that I try to live by is I don't live to work. I work to live almost. And yeah, I really do think that relationships with family and friends and people it's very important. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what I started the show with, this concept of respect, and how much it seems like you guys really respect one another and your own careers and your own journeys. Like Melissa said, it's very much about finding yourself and finding a way to express that and keep growing with that, and having a family that supports you in that process. I feel that's so important, and I love how you've been able to kind of just keep reinventing your career. So that's what's so important, Jack, is that you never stop reinventing who you are. I used to be a Broadway performer. Now I'm a doctor on the radio. Patrick is now a doctor. He has an honor on
used
the
to be a
radio.
Broadway performer.
I used to be a Broadway performer. Who knows what's going to happen next? Melissa could go to the moon.
I do have one question, though.
No,
for
we have
you.
about 3 minutes left. So, any final thoughts?
Well, I want to give you the
Yes,
last
yes.
final thought. So
And where's the song? We didn't get the song.
But
We
I
have
want-
to get the song.
You,
Go ahead.
you have to do an analysis of us as a
Yeah.
family. After these last 54 minutes or whatever it is. Don't you need to do some
He's
sort of
moving into our
analysis?
guest house.
Help! What's your budget?
We'll talk to sponsors.
But I will. Well, I think you guys are an amazing family, and one thing I can tell is that you love each other very much. It's so obvious because we've been able to have a lot of fun. And if there isn't a lot of love, you usually can't have a lot of fun. There's just a lot of competition and a lot of the backstabbing, and I don't see that at all. So the fact that you're all here, again, I'm repeating myself, and enjoying means there's a strong baseline of real care for one another. But I still have to get that song. So,
Jack, why don't you take
Jack,
us out?
Jack, you go.
Alright.
Thanks, Pat.
This is off the fly, by the way.
Yeah.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and he pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift, the barefoot king composing hallelujah.
Ooh, goosey.
I'd give you a
I
6.
got goosey.
A 6. I take back that about the loving, non-backstabbing family.
We're very hard when it comes to entertaining.
Well, listen, Jack, that was amazing. Actually, I got goosebumps, and it is actually one of my favorite songs. So I want to thank you for that,
Yeah.
and I want to thank the Cassidy family for coming back on. There's a Freudian slip for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you all along. I wish you a lot of luck in all your careers, and I love what you guys said about family, and I hope we've inspired others out there to have the best family they can possibly
And
have.
Howard, I want to
Yes.
thank you
Oh,
for allowing me to co-host with
Y-
you.
yes,
You
yes,
are
my
a-
co-host.
You are absolutely amazing. I can't wait to be therapeutically healed by you.
I feel to already. You just don't realize it.
That's what I was hoping.
I
I feel
know.
so much better.
When you leave, you're gonna fly right out of
That's
here.
what
I'm Dr.
Really?
Yes. Uh-oh. That's a whole nother show, Melissa.
I know, here we go again.
I know. Here we go again.
Thank you for
Okay.
having us.
It's been a
Wonderful.
pleasure, and we'll be back next week.